What's up, everyone? This is just a trade recap again of today, Monday, August 17th, 2026. As you can see, I made about $353 today, 347 to be exact. And this exactly was my trade. As you can see, today I entered in at a sell right here around 9:30 opening. And right now, New York time, it's 1:28. So I got out of this trade not too long ago. This trade was actually pretty long trade today. As you can see, August 17th, this trade took me almost 4 hours, which is, kind of a bit on the long side, but I still exited, green, which was pretty good. So yeah, three hours and 47 minutes. Pretty long trade. The P8, was the price action was not the best today. There was a lot of bit of manipulation, but we always have to hold strong. One of my rules I have, is to stick with your bias. I know a lot of people they say you shouldn't do that. When like some people tell you to flip your bias, but with my rules with the system that I have, flipping your bias, isn't always the best. Because as you can see, I was in a sell. Price was doing pretty good, and then price, popped up, pretty big. And right here, the normal trader, the regular trader, they would be thinking, okay, price is just pumping up a lot. If they was in a sell like me, they would be thinking, okay, yeah, I should just leave this sell and then enter in a buy. And then guess what? They enter into a buy, and then price goes down, and then they will be entering in at a loss, and then they would get stopped out, around here. So that's why it's not good to, switch your bias. That's why it's not good to, exit early when you're negative, because it's just doing more damage. You have to, just persevere through, what seems like a losing trade. You have to just persevere what seems as something that's just going wrong, because the normal trader, they would probably exit right here, enter into a long, and they would just get stopped out. So switching your bias isn't that's not in my system. That's not what I would teach. You just have to hold, if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and then you just learn from that. And as you can see, I got rewarded for my patience. I got rewarded for my perseverance because I have a winning day. Obviously, it's not a lot. Well, $350 in a day, it's pretty good. Obviously, I aim for 500, which it would have been getting hit right now, but the system that I'll follow, once price crosses $400, which it did, I just move my stop loss to positive $350, and then the price ended up retracing and then up and down. Obviously, in hindsight, obviously in hindsight, you think like, oh, you should have just held, because I would have been exiting right now at $500. But a win is a win at the end of the day. I followed my systems, I followed my rules, because I back test a lot, and the system that works for me, is I noticed that especially when you're trading two contracts, a lot of the times you're going to be in a longer position when you're trading two contracts. Sometimes the trade do does last a little bit longer, but it's nothing really too wrong with that. As you can see, normally with my evals, I entered in at this 930 candle right here. If I was trading 10 contracts on as funded, I would have got stopped out, right here. But glory be to God, that I don't do 10 contracts. I used to trade with 10 contracts on my funded, and I made pretty good money doing that. But I found that, trading a long game is better, meaning, that when you have fundeds, you have to, you have to protect them, so to say. And trading is a long term game. It's not really a short term game. To be the most profitable trader, you have to trade long term. And I've been trading. You have to trade long term. You have to, don't be so hasty. And I've been trading for over a year now. So yeah, this is a pretty good day today. Um, as you can see, I'll go over my bias just a little bit. Um, you know, I'm trading, this range. As you can see, we're in a bearish range. This is the candle that I'm following. This the range high of this candle, the range low, the 50% key level of this candle, bullish key level to be exact. Where price produced a bullish move at, and yeah, there was a lot of manipulation in this candle, as you can see as well, and something I predict most likely this is another candle range CRT that we're in as well. And actually the 50% key level of this candle is actually lower. So honestly, this week I predict price will continue to dump further. And let's take a look at MES right now. Let's take a look at MES, the S&P 500. So yeah, so as you can see, I predict that price is gonna, this is a draw of liquidity. This resistance level, the 50% key levels of candles are always a draw of liquidity. And this is just a marking that I have. In the future, I'll continue to know to go deeper into how I take my trades, etc. But as you can see, we have an SMT, and you know MNQ took this range high while MES took the previous day candle range low. And sometimes it's pretty tricky, but some those trades, these trades do get pretty tricky, but you just have to trust your rules. Like I still, like regardless, price didn't take this range high, so this is what I was looking for. So I was just, just selling. And so I predict price to continue to go lower because as you can see, you know, uh the S&P 500 didn't take this candle range high or this candle range high. So this is an indication that price is going to continue to sell. So before we even see some bullish resistance, I predict that price will go here. Like this is the target. All right, target. That we can possibly see like some good resistance here, and then here again as well, which I predict price will continue to drop further down. But yeah, we'll see. We will see how what will happen, because it's only Monday. It is only Monday. You know it is only Monday. So yeah, we will see. As you can see, I predict the price will continue to go lower because we took the candle range low of this candle already. So yeah. And another thing before I close out, this trade was a pretty long trade. Almost an almost 4 hour long trade. Got out of this trade at almost I got out of this trade at 12:17. But I base my time off of New York time, so 1:17 p.m. But yeah, almost 4 hour long trade. So not bad today, not bad at all. Yep, not bad at all. Thanks for tuning into the video. I hope you learned something, some insights, something. But yeah, I do predict that price will continue to dump throughout the rest of this weekend. We possibly could see some resistance, but I don't. We possibly could see more bullish pump, but I'm not sure at all. I don't. I think the rest of the week, we possibly could continue to go further down. You know, we could pump up as well. It just depends on how the market. The market is right. The market is always right. So yeah. Thanks.